Hello, Hollywood. Welcome to this morning's Walk of Fame ceremony. I'd like to give a shout out to our fans watching our live video stream presented by our media partner, Variety. I'm Rana Gadban, President and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which is presenting the program. For today's very special double Walk of Fame ceremony, we are honoring two absolutely amazing women who are role models in film, theater, and philanthropy. And I want to give a special acknowledgement today for a special guest who's here to support our special honorees. I want to acknowledge our Honorable Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti. I'd also like to give an acknowledgement to the board chair of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, owner of the Hollywood Museum in the historic Max Factor building, and vice chair of the California Film Commission, Donnell Dadigan. And I'd also like to give a quick acknowledgement to Walk of Famer Vin DiBona and committee chair of the Walk of Fame. And last but not least, our immediate past chair of the Chamber Board and chair of the Hollywood Chamber Community Foundation, Jeff Zernim. Today, Hollywood honors two absolutely amazing women, Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel, with the 2,681st and 82nd stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But before we have our honorees join us on stage, I'd like to tell you about them. We're going to start with Kristen. Kristen Bell was born in Detroit, Michigan. She began her career in entertainment in 1992 when she went to her first audition and won a role in Raggedy Ann and Andy. After graduating from high school, she moved to New York and to attend Tisch School of the Arts, where she studied musical theater. Oh yes, you can clap. In 2001, Kristen left the university to play the role of Becky in Tom Sawyer on Broadway. She then moved to Los Angeles and appeared in a handful of television shows as a special guest. When she was just 24, she landed the title role of 17-year-old detective Veronica Mars. The series became an instant cult classic, so much so that it's had two different revivals. The first one in 2014 with the Warner Brothers film Veronica Mars, which was made after a record-breaking Kickstarter that raised $2 million in less than 11 hours. And the second revival in 2019 was an 8-episode season on Hulu. Kristen currently stars in the NBC series The Good Place, opposite Ted Danson, which is now airing in its 4th and final season. Additionally, Kristen is executive producing and appearing in a second season of Encore that will air on Disney's streaming platform, Disney Plus, this year. Her other film and television credits include Bad Moms, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, The Lifeguard, Parks and Recreation, House of Lies, Unsupervised, Dead Woods, Heroes, Party Down, Frozen, and many, many more. Fans will again hear her voice as Anna in Walt Disney Animation Studios' highly anticipated Frozen 2, which will be out in theaters on November 22nd. Kristen is a believer in giving back. She has donated her time to many charities, including United Nations Women's Peace and Humanity Fund, No Kid Hungry, Children's Miracle Network, to just name a few. Thank you, Kristen. And now it's my honor to introduce our next recipient today, who has the voice of an angel, Idina Menzel. Born in New York, Idina started her career at the age of 15 when she began working as a wedding and bar mitzvah singer. This job carried her throughout her time at the Tisch School of Arts, where she earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in drama. She rose to fame for her role as Maureen in the popular Broadway musical Rent. And her career took off when she won a Tony Award for her role as Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, in the musical Wicked. Her voice can be heard as Elsa in Disney's Oscar-winning Frozen, one of my favorites, which is the second highest grossing animated films of all time. The film's song, Let It Go, voiced by Idina, became an instant international phenomenon, winning the Oscar for Best Original Song and the Grammy Award for Best Song Written for Visual Media. Congratulations. The track reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, making her the first artist with both a Billboard Top 10 hit and a Tony Award for acting. Her other film credits include Beaches, Disney's Enchanted, Rent, and many others. A skillful songwriter, Idina's prolific recording career includes multiple cast albums and several solo albums. She has also released 2 Christmas albums. The first, Holiday Wishes, debuted in 2014, and her latest album, Christmas, A Season of Love, which was released last month. The album features Ariana Grande, Billy Porter, Josh Gad, and Idina's husband, Aaron Laurer. Philanthropy is also very important to Idina, who co-founded a Broader Way Foundation. This organization is dedicated to offering girls from underserved communities an outlet for self-expression and creativity through arts-centered programs. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage our honorees, Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel. So we're going to have the ladies stand on stage as we all talk about them and have our speakers say a few words. So please join me. You want me to? Yeah, absolutely. The first here today, our first speaker supporting Kristen, is an actress, comic, singer, songwriter, and show creator. She plays Melrose on the hit Netflix show Glow. and she played Gilda Radner in Netflix, A Futile and Stupid Gesture. Most recently, she executive produced and voiced an animated preschool musical series with Kristen called Doré and Me for Amazon. Please welcome to the stage, Jackie Thone. I leave them here for you. If you want to make sure that.
Thank you. I had no idea the ladies were going to be up here for this. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Tone. You may have seen my star on your way over here today. It is a little confusing, however, because they spelled my last name Gleason. Thank you. Who do I talk to about fixing that, by the way? Now a good time? No? All right. Kristen Bell, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any idea how hard it was not to make this a roast, let me ask you a question, folks. Do you know a really good person? Well, one of the ladies we're honoring, both of the ladies, but I'm going to talk about Kristen. Unfortunately, I wrote nothing about Idina. I didn't know the gorgeous queen was going to be standing up here for this. Oh, can you shut that? Sir, can you turn that down? Thank you. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you know a really good person? Well, the person we're honoring today puts you're a good person to shame. Now, being a good person is not a competition. That would be horrible if it was. But if it were a competition, your good person would lose. That's embarrassing for you guys. Kristen's life has already been one for the history books. She has starred on hundreds of hours of television and voices one of the highest grossing animated films of all time. She has produced, created, directed, and hosted. She has done enough humanitarian work for 8 lifetimes. She's the best. Helping teachers, inmates, dogs, immigrants, the hungry, and those are only the ones you guys know about. She lent me this outfit for today. That's humanitarian work. And with all of that, her #1 gig is still being the most unbelievable mother and wife I know. And now, on top of all of that, you guys, she has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You guys, the Rugrats have a star. This is huge. And yet, years from now, when her kids type her name into Google, the first thing they'll see is her crying about a sloth. Now that's a legacy, okay? In all seriousness, I couldn't be more proud of how far Kristen has come in the 16 years we've known each other. She has done so much amazing work, and I have a feeling it's really just the tip of the iceberg. But not the iceberg that took down the Titanic, like a kinder, gentler iceberg, one that houses penguins and polar bears. You get it. Okay, folks, I'm out of here. She is too good. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please give another round of applause to the world's best friend, but really my best friend, Kristen Bell. Yeah, dude! I love you. Bye!
Thank you, Jackie. Kristen's next speaker is the creator of The Good Place. Additionally, he co-created the critically acclaimed NBC comedies Parks and Recreation and the Golden Globe-winning Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's also an executive producer of the Netflix comedy series Master of None and NBC's comedy Sunny Side. Prior to Parks, he spent 4 years as a writer-producer on the Emmy Award-winning NBC hit The Office. Please help me welcome to the stage Michael Schur.
Hello. It's truly an honor to be standing here in the most glamorous location in all of show business, the semi-abandoned Starline Tours branch office on the corner of Hollywood and Argyle. I'd like to talk today about a conspiracy theory held by many of Kristen Bell's friends and coworkers. The conspiracy theory is this: she's not one person. She has cloned herself. This is the only possible answer to the riddle that is how she does everything that she does. When I first met Kristen in the early 2000s, she was 21 years old and somehow starring in a Broadway production of The Crucible with Liam Neeson and Laura Linney. Yeah. What were you doing when you were 21 years old? I bet you weren't hanging out professionally with Liam Neeson and Laura Linney. I bet you were sitting on your couch watching Taken and eating a bowl of ramen you heated up on your radiator. I'm mostly talking to myself here. I left New York after that, and every so often I would get updates on Kristen's life. She was starring in Veronica Mars, shooting 4 movies at once. She married Dax Shepard. She had 2 kids. She was talking about sloths on The Ellen Show and lighting up the internet. She was the voice of Princess Anna, and every girl between the ages of 4 and 75 was dressing up like her for Halloween. Then I created a show called The Good Place, and I asked Kristen to be in it. Over the last 4 years, she has been a brilliant actor and a director and our team captain. She gives interviews and also FaceTimes her kids every 40 seconds somehow. I guess at night, instead of sleeping, she sends emails about charitable causes in the Dominican Republic, and she hosts Jimmy Kimmel's show when he's on vacation, and she takes RV trips with her family and runs like 8 different successful companies, and she stars in commercials for appliances, and she does voiceover for the show Gossip Girl, and she raises money for causes she believes in, and she advises former President Obama on his post-term political strategy. And that last thing was totally made up, but you definitely believed me because she's Kristen Bell. Thus comes the conspiracy theory. There can't be one Kristen Bell. There's no way one person can do all of this. There must be 6 to 10 Kristen Bells out there, moving stealthily around the city, careful never to be seen in the same place. There must be lookalikes or clones or assistants dressed in blonde wigs who are out in the world, spreading goodwill, making great art, fighting for just causes, and supporting charities. It's the only explanation. No one person can lead a life this rich and full. But as I've gotten to know her and I've watched her work and be the best actor and creative partner and business person and mother and wife a person can possibly be, I've come to realize this is exactly the point. There is only one Kristen Bell. She is in a class by herself, and I consider myself very lucky to know her. Congratulations.
And now, before we introduce Idina's guest speakers, I'd like to give a special shout out to one of the most iconic Hollywood venues, the Pantages Theaters. Thank you for accommodating us today. And I just want to mention that the North American tour of the hit Broadway show Frozen begins at the Pantages on December 4th and runs through February 2nd, 2020. I'm sure it'll be amazing. And now I'd like to introduce our first speaker who's here honoring Idina. He is co-chairman and chief creative officer of the Walt Disney Studios. He's responsible for the overarching creative strategy and global operations of Disney's Studio Entertainment Division, overseeing the production, marketing, and distribution of the studio's output, including Disney, Walt Disney Animation Studios, Pixar Animation Studios, Disney Nature, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, 20th Century Fox, Fox Searchlight Pictures, and Blue Sky Studios. That's amazing for Disney. Please welcome to the stage, Alan Horn.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Congratulations, Kristen and Idina. I'm here representing the Walt Disney Company. I will say I love the Walt Disney Company. And as you all know, there's a foundation based on animation in our company, and that's where I first met Idina with Frozen. I have a grandnephew, by the way, in Australia, and she sent me a bulletin from their classroom. She's 9 years old. That says, "This class has gone 0 days without singing Let It Go in the past 2 years," which I thought was kind of interesting. Our company's foundation, as you all know, is animation, and I can't express how important Frozen has been to us. Well, first of all, it's nice hearing all these wonderful things about Anna, our Anna, Kristen, because her joy and irrepressible charm has really infected and helped and elevated our Frozen. And as for Idina, we've heard about her work in decades on the Broadway stage, as Maureen in Rent, and as Elphaba in Wicked. And then she came to us. And I can only tell you that having the power of that voice, in animation, of course, it's all about the power of the voice. And that power has conveyed emotion that was so terribly important to these films, to the first film, and now, of course, the second will be out very shortly in a theater near you. And I've seen it, of course, 9 times, and it is spectacular. It is spectacular. And it is spectacular because, among other, the biggest thing for me is that Idina, as Elsa, brings power through her voice to this character. Elsa is a powerful character, and Idina has brought that to us. Now, as part of this process, I got to know Idina a little bit. She's been to our house, and she has sung at certain political events that we've had, and having the power, in a way, celebrity status is something that one can, I'll use the word spend. You can take the power of that celebrity status and use it, employ it for good purposes. And Idina has done that in a very, very special way, and it's meant a lot to me and to my wife, Cindy. I've been thinking about this star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it's a fabulous thing. This is forever. This star, once there, is forever. It's a wonderful honor, and I'm proud to be part of an industry that celebrates it. And when we celebrate it in the case of Idina, we're celebrating a person who's not just an actress, not just a singer, vocalist. She's also a person of character. There's a goodness in her, and a kindness in her, and a value in her. And we are so, all of us at the Walt Disney Company, are so very, very proud to have Idina Menzel and Kristen Bell as part of our wonderful repertoire of characters and people. So I thank you, Idina, for your wonderful work for our company, and congratulate you on this honor, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's just great, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Alan. Last but not least, this next speaker is an actor whose work in TV, film, and stage has given us some of the most iconic characters. He's best known for roles in the Book of Mormon, Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, Frozen 2, and the Angry Birds movie. Please welcome to the stage, Josh Gad.
Don't you worry. I'm not off book. Don't get scared. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here today as half the cast of Frozen receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. and the other half are Jonathan Groff and I. I was so grateful that Idina asked me to present to her today. John Travolta was originally asked to do it, but had no idea who Idina Menzel was, so ultimately declined. I would also love to give a shout out to my other co-star, Kristen Bell, who I adore. As one of only 2 actors present here today not currently employed by The Good Place, I am thrilled to see you receive this amazing honor. But alas, I'm here to talk today about Idina Menzel, or as I often refer to her, the one that got away. Now, I've known Idina for over 2 decades. That is not to say that Idina has known me for the same amount of time. In fact, I'm incredibly confident that Idina Menzel had no idea who I was until the premiere of Frozen in 2013. But back in 1996, I went on a high school field trip to New York City with my drama class and saw a little show called Rent. Out came this gorgeous Long Island Jew in leather pants, singing with the raspy appeal of one of the sirens that Odysseus almost sacrificed his life for. And there, as she sang to me with great conviction that the only thing to do is jump over the moon, I was ready to buy a NASA spacesuit and jump over that damn moon, even if I had no official space training. I waited at the stage door for her, but 'twas not meant to be. I know, I was just as pissed as you guys. Cut to my senior year of college. My buddy Jonathan and I were in New York City on a brief excursion in the fall of 2003 for 2 days, and as young college-age men in their primes often do with a night to burn in New York City, we secured 2 second-row seats to Wicked. Many disappointed girls around us shouted expletives at us, but once again I sat in awe as this woman took a character literally known as one of the ugliest villains in the history of cinema and made me want to jump onto the stage and fight Dorothy Gale and that bitch Galinda to protect this wicked witch of my dreams. Once again, I waited at the stage door, and once again, Idina apparently didn't realize there was a stage door. Cut to years later, I finally had come to peace with the fact that I was never going to be Mr. Idina Menzel, when I got a fateful call that I was being offered the voice of a supporting animated character in a Disney movie. Who, I asked, would I be supporting? Kristen Bell, they said. Well, my interest was piqued. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big Veronica Mars fan, but playing hard to get, I said cagily, anyone else? And that's when 3 words that would change the course of my life were uttered. Idina Kim Menzel. And at that moment, I realized that if I couldn't marry Idina, I was going to have to do the next best thing, support her in an animated franchise for the Walt Disney Company. You have not only changed my life for the better, as you have Galinda's, Mark's, and Anna's, but you have changed us all for the better because we know you and your voice from the heavens. Through your brilliant film career, your illustrious record career, and your iconic stage roles, you have given life to some of the most celebrated characters and songs in the history of our industry. Today, you take your rightful place alongside Garland, Minnelli, Andrews, and Streisand, because that is exactly where you belong. And 100 years from now, as children walk the streets of Hollywood still singing Let It Go, I know they will stop at your star and give thanks for a voice as timeless as yours. I am beyond blessed to live in the age of Idina Menzel, but beyond grateful that Idina Menzel will live on for the ages alongside all of these other incredible icons, including you, Kristen. Love you both dearly. Congratulations.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers for being here today, supporting our honorees. the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce is proud to administer the Walk of Fame on behalf of the city of Los Angeles. And I want to give a huge shout out to a very strong woman, Anna Martinez, producer of the Walk of Fame. Thank you. It's great working with you, Anna. And for today's special double Walk of Fame ceremony, we have a special guest who's here today supporting our honorees. It is my pleasure to welcome to the stage our honorable mayor, Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you. Hello, Los Angeles. How you doing? How you feeling? This is an Angels Day in the city of Los Angeles. And when I was a council member here, I used to come to these ceremonies all the time. It's rare I get the chance as mayor, but this was an exceptional day. About two exceptional women. I don't work in Hollywood, though I love that Hollywood is here. But I always remind people it's not just a place, but an idea. There's a bus that just went by full of tourists who might be here for the first time. And even though they've never set foot in this sacred ground, they know what Hollywood means to them. There are children in every language around the world who have driven their parents crazy singing Let It Go in every language on the face of the earth. But they know and they are touched by what these women have done on the stage, on the small screen, on the big screen. And what I love about both of them is they're not just incredibly talented in front of the camera. As you've heard today, it's what they do when the camera is off. The way Idina has fought for equality in the LGBTQ community. The way that animal welfare is something that Kristen has made a priority with Dax in her family. The way that we have seen both of them step forward, even the face, and you can see around us. We live in a time in which we are so divided, in which hate is so much easier to access than love. But these two women have reminded us what love is all about. So on behalf of a city of 4 million angels, I want to congratulate these two angels in the city of angels today. And I've got a couple certificates here, if I can have them come forward. One for Kristen, one for Idina, to say thank you on behalf of the people of Los Angeles. We love you. Congratulations. And remember, there's 5 different categories for the Walk of Fame, so this is just the first for you. God bless you, and congratulations, Los Angeles. Thank you.
And now it's the time you've all been waiting for. It's time to hear from our honorees. So we will get started by hearing from Kristen first. Let me welcome Kristen.
Wow, guys. Thank you. I am so grateful to be accepting this honor today on these hallowed streets where pretty women sold their body for money. It's really a dream. You know, my husband always says that I was born with a horseshoe up my ass, and I tend to fight that claim, but looking around here today, I'm not sure because he may be onto something. I am suspiciously lucky. And not because I have a career worthy of this star, but because all the people that I've been able to orbit along the way. On my show, The Good Place, the character of Janet, who is our resident robot and programmed for the truth, said, "Since nothing seems to make sense, when you find something or someone that does, it's euphoria." My life has been spent collecting people that are smarter than me, funnier than me, and more curious than me, who induce that euphoria. 2 of whom just stood up here and told beautiful lies about me. And that's the real gift of this job, I think, being exposed to people who give you things that you didn't even know you needed. In 2010, I did a movie with Schur, and she gave me some, for Schur, gave me some advice that I will never forget. She said, "If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter." And I've since labeled everything the Schur test. And to be honest, perhaps too honest, in a way that might make my publicist have some cleanup tomorrow, this moment here doesn't necessarily pass the Schur test. When I'm on my deathbed, I don't think I'll be thinking about this ceremony because as wonderful as this recognition feels in the moment, I know that it's only temporary. And yet there are some things that are permanent, like when I was a kid and I'd lightly tap on my dad's door at 10 p.m. and ask him for the 14th time that day if he wanted to hear the aria I was working on. And even though he was almost half asleep, he would turn on the light and answer, of course, every time. Like the moment when Mike Schur revealed to the cast of The Good Place that we were actually in the bad place, and there was a split second when everyone in the room stopped breathing. Like when I heard Idina sing for the first time, and I felt a newness that I'd never felt before, like a baby who had just experienced rain for the first time. Did you know that's what it feels like when people hear you sing for the first time? It's the truth. Like when my mom dropped me off at my first audition for the local theater company when I was 8, and I was so nervous that she said, listen, if you have a bad experience, we never have to speak of this again. We don't even have to drive down this street again, but give it a chance, you may love it. Or when my husband asked me to play me in a movie he wrote about our love story. These are the real moments that make a career, and these are the real moments that make a life. So thank you all for being here and for this honor today. This star will really only know its true value when inevitably someone is mugged in that very spot, and as they clutch their purse, the assailant screams, "Let it go!" And the victim will look up and say, "That's not even her song, you son of a bitch." Only then will I know that I've truly made it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kristen. We are very honored to have you on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Congratulations. Let's give her another round of applause. Thank you all. And now, just like Josh, I believe, mentioned earlier, I'd like to introduce, and it's time to hear from the wickedly talented Idina Menzel.
Thanks, everybody. I want to thank Alan and Josh for those incredible words. Thank you for making me feel so special. I would not be here today if it wasn't for my sister, Kristen Bell, and what we have created together. It does seem like just yesterday, about 1989, 1990, when I was driving around in a beat-up old Nissan red hatch, and I would sing at bar mitzvahs and weddings all over the tri-state area, Jersey, Manhattan, Connecticut, Long Island. Never in a million years did I think that I'd be standing here amongst all of these incredible names on this sidewalk. Although, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I did have a sense of myself. When I was younger, I believed in myself. I thought that I was capable of accomplishing something significant and using my voice to connect with people. But, you know, as you get older, with bouts of success comes a lot of responsibility and scrutiny, and the noise gets louder. And it's funny, having been on this roller coaster ride, especially this month with Frozen 2 coming out, we talk a lot about our roles, and I've been able to take stock of my career and how the characters that I played affect me, and I've done a lot of talking about Elsa, and it seems like there's this common thread between all the characters that I played, where there's this duality, you know, between being vulnerable and being really powerful and strong, and trying to find that balance in my life, just like Elsa's always trying to find that balance. And it's hard because when you try to allowing for vulnerability is how you get to the heart and the truth of the matter of things. And also you have to be powerful in order to be courageous enough to take risks. So it's this weird duality. But none of that is possible in our lives and in our career if we're not surrounded by the people who have loved and supported us in our lives. And ironically, we're standing here in front of the Pantages, where a couple years ago I was doing a couple weeks of a Broadway show that I had done called If Then, and my manager, Heather Reynolds, almost going on, I don't know, 30 years now. I was having a little bit of a tough time. I might say I was having an anxiety attack. All the LA critics were coming, and I was really nervous about that, because being in New York is one thing, but being accepted out here is another thing. And it was intermission, and I was wrapped in a ball on the floor, just thinking I was sucking the whole show. And she came up, and she was there for me, and she made me drink a glass of wine with her, which I never drink when I'm performing, but she's a great manager. And she talked me through it, and she told me how much she loved me and believed in me all these years. And I love you, Heather, for that. I have my dad, who can't be here today. He slipped and hurt his leg, but he's out in Florida, and he's the guy that sits in the audience at any premiere or any opening night and has about 30 people all surrounding him who are now my biggest fans and know that he is my father, and they all can get tickets, and their cousins and their cousins and the owner of the grocery store in the town they live can all come backstage to my shows. And my sister, who couldn't be here, who is one of my best friends and who inspires Anna for me all the time. And then there's my mother, who's, Mommy, put down the phone and take this in. My mother, who would never allow me to have a backup career. I'd say, well, maybe I should minor in business just in case, you know, Uncle Marty says it's a really tough business and it's hard to get an agent. And she would say, no, you have no backup careers. You put all your passion into your dream and making that come true. I believe in you. And then I have my beautiful son, Walker, who's getting to play hooky today from school, who's here, who is actually the embodiment of what I was talking about, you know, that sort of reflection of this little kind, generous, very, very sweet, empathic soul who's also at 10 years old learning how to be tough and kick ass at the same time. And so I feel like if I can look at him and see how beautiful that is, then I guess I have to accept that and take that in for myself and all of the characters that I play. And finally, my husband, Aaron, is here, who actually helped me write the script this morning because I didn't know what I wanted to say, and I was nervous. And when all the noise gets really loud in my head, I am able to just wake up in the morning, and he looks at me in that way, and I just know that it's all okay, and we're going to be good. And I love you, Aaron, so much. You changed my life. So in the words of Jonathan Larson, who is the composer of Rent and the very first job that I ever had in my life, I'm humbled and honored to be here, and I'm going to try to take in the moment, as he would say, savor this moment, because there's no day but today. Thank you, everybody.
And now it's time to unveil the stars for our two stars today. Let's join us by cheering as we unveil the star, and let's hear it again for our two newest Walk of Famers, Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel.
Hold it. Hey, brother, in a gray shirt, stepped in my frame. You weren't there. I was right here, actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Kristen Bell.
Flash down, flash down. Thank you.
So much fun.
6:45. Right in the center? Right here? There we go. Panning and you stop panning. Miss Bell. Miss Bell? Sorry, Dan. One more, there you go. Okay. Miss Bell. Kristen, be the first one to step on it. I'm done here. Let's try to say that. Thank you. Touch it.
Touch it.
Idina, touch it.
Kristen, more towards your corner of the scarf. One more, lady, lady. Lady, straight ahead.
Together. 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 One on each side.
Also one.
Ladies.